Hello everybody. Welcome or welcome back to my channel where stories and other random things take center stage. Welcome to today's video. Happy Saturday. I hope you're having a great morning. And today we're doing a Blind Woman Anticipates video. So we're going to do a second part of this because I've done this before for Into the Glades by Laura Sebastian. I did a bit of a plot discussion on it before. We had like a minimal description, but now we have a full description. So I want to talk about it. So yeah, let's do this. I'll react as I read and we'll talk about my thoughts. Okay. New York Times bestselling author Laura Sebastian makes her middle grade debut with an emotional fantasy adventure about four friends who journey through a magical Everglades inspired swampland to break a curse tied to the death of a loved one. So I do want to say that from my understanding, I was watching an interview of Laura Sebastian, and she lives in London, but she also grew up in Florida. So I am curious if it says it's Everglades inspired. So I'm wondering if it was based on the Everglades in Florida, basically. Like that's what it makes me think of. But also, I have to admit, I pre-ordered this book, but when I read a middle grade, the first time I read this description, I had my doubts about reading it because most of the time I read YA, but then again I realized, I read and reviewed the Dragon Prince for this channel. And I do like middle grade. So whatever. I had my doubts. I wasn't too sure if I really wanted to read it, but the story was interesting. So, best friends Cordelia and Larkin have always called the Glades, a peaceful swamp full of magical creatures, home. Ooh, it's peaceful and it has magical creatures. I really want to know how she plans, how they're going to be part of the world. Like, is there a magic system here for the kids, or like, are the creatures the magic system? Like, what do they do? Are they friends, or are the creatures basically like dangerous? I'm very curious on that, to be honest. But when Osiris, Cordelia's father and the leader of their village, dies unexpectedly, a dark curse sweeps over the land. I truly want to know what this curse is. Like, what does it do to the land? For example, if we go back and say that it says it's a peaceful swamp. So if it's a peaceful swamp, one of two things come to my mind. Either the creatures themselves are peaceful by nature, or the creatures are peaceful if nobody bothers them. Like if no one hurts them, they won't harm you. So if that's like the two things that come up. But if the creatures are peaceful by nature, I wonder if the curse that swept across the land when the leader dies makes them harmful, makes them dangerous. I am truly wondering about that part. Okay. The girls know that the curse must be tied to Osiris's death, and they're determined to break its hold on their home and bring Osiris back to life. So, the resurrection trope. Honestly, I don't have a problem with resurrection. I mean, I watched Dragon Ball where basically nobody really dies and everybody kind of just gets brought back by the Dragon Balls, but it's a big plot convenience, but I don't care. I feel like Dragon Ball is one of those things that's just like it's the most plot convenient thing, and you know it because it doesn't try to hide it. But I'm wondering then, if it's tied up to him, did Osiris know that this curse was going to happen if he died? That's the good question. Wait, what? And brings us back to life. Okay. Together, Cordelia, Larkin, and their two little brothers set off into the wild glades in search of an elusive and enigmatic witch who is rumored to have the power to reverse death. So, two things. Why bring the younger siblings when it's very evident that they're older? Why bring the younger siblings? Is there no one else to stay with them? And also, why do I feel like the witch that is rumored to reverse death is very much a lie? Like she made, like, why do I feel like she's some form of like healer or something who maybe she healed someone when they're close to dying but can't, but and so the rumors came when that she is able to reverse death, but she has never truly resurrected anybody from actual death or reversed that death. Or is Osiris really dead? Like maybe he is not fully dead, but like I don't know, something happened with the magic or whatever. Interesting. Okay. The glades are no longer a familiar and friendly place, though, and danger lurks around every corner. Okay, so yes, it looks like the creatures were peaceful, and then the curse itself made them dangerous, and the glades themselves. So the glades used to be familiar and peaceful, but it looks like now they're really not going to be. But on their journey, the children discovered that the most difficult challenge isn't wild marsh what marsh maids or bow wait a minute okay or bogilisks or dragon dragon gators. It's the grief threatening to consume them. So one of the things I think about this plot is that it's about grief and death. And that in a middle grade book, I think it's great that it's being explored. One of my favorite books when I was in middle school, remember we read it in 6th grade, was Bridge to Terabithia, specifically because it was a really good book. Like it had a great friendship and it had a great cast of characters, but the friendship between Leslie and I can't remember the boy who's the main character. Like the friendship between them was really nice. So it develops a great friendship, and they have like this great. They're like these really great kids, and then at the end, you also get but at the end when she dies, you really when Leslie dies at the end, spoiler for a book, but I'm sorry, but when Leslie dies at the end, you really do feel the pain that our main character feels because you got to know both of them. So that one. And another of my favorites from that very same year is Tuck Everlasting, which also explores mortality, but in the way that these family members can never die. They're very much immortal because they drink water from this spring, and they can no longer die. They stay in the same place. But the question is, like, is it good? Or is it even worth it? So it's a question on mortality. So this plot makes me think about these two books, especially when it comes to the death of the village leader, which the children will have to learn to cope with. And I think the fact that this is being explored is very interesting. I honestly have no predictions. I think it's one of two options that I have. Either he is truly dead and cannot be brought back to life, so the children have to learn to they will have to learn to be without him and find another way to break the curse, or he's not outright dead and something can still be done, and maybe they believe him to be dead. It's kind of complicated, but honestly, it seems interesting enough for me to read, even if it's middle grade. I don't think Laura Sebastian is an author to pull her punches, even if you write for middle grade. And I like that a lot. This book specifically is 304 pages, so it is a good enough read. And yes, the writing will probably not be as like what I'm used to, but I am excited. To be truth be told, I am very excited. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this new plot. I did try to look for a review on this by Laura Sebastian, but I couldn't find it because she put stuff in before for Castles and Their Bones that gave us kind of like a couple of hints on point of views. But um, since we're talking about that, I do want to say I feel like it'll be very similar to that. There's a possibility that it'll be similar to the writing style, even if it's a little bit lower, a little bit different than to Half Sick of Shadows, which basically we mainly follow Elaine's point of view, and we see it's past. We follow past tense, present tense, and future tense, but in that one, but I think we mainly will be following either present or past tense or both. But basically, I feel like it will follow Cordelia's point of view. But I feel like there's also a possibility that it will follow Larkin's point of view as well. But I mainly feel like it'll follow Cordelia since Osiris is her father. So those are my thoughts on that. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. This book comes out sometime in October. I can't remember the date, and I just closed Goodreads. But it does come out sometime in October. So if I'll put it in I'll put the actual date in the description. But definitely, it does come out sometime in October. Wait, let me see if I'll find it while I'm here. I know it's October. Was it October? Was it October 20? I think it could be October 25th. Let me see. I will find out for you. And this is new because in the years I've been reading Laura Sebastian, she's only released one book a year. So it's interesting that she is going to be releasing two books this year. And also the second book for Castles and Their Bones is apparently also going to be published this year. I have my doubts because since she's releasing a second book, I feel like if she does that, it'll probably come out later in December. So I don't know, but still something interesting to know. I will say if it comes out this year, I'll definitely read it. But yeah. Okay, the publication date is October 25th, 2022. So I'll make sure to put it in the description for you guys. But yeah. Let me know what you think of the plot, and if you're interested in my content, consider subscribing. I post as frequently as I can. Ring that bell so you have notifications on and everything. And until my next video, consume stories. Bye.